is central pillar of our national education strategy. Before I invite speakers, I would like to share some important stats, key stats. And UNICEF, in its recent report 2024, have shared how climate change has disrupted education globally. So globally, at least 242 million students from pre-primary to upper secondary education have experienced school disruptions due to climate events. And that's global, which is huge. And if we talk about Pakistan, climate change risk index, we are at 7.8 out of 10, which means that our children and young people, and especially their education and well-being, is at risk. In 2023, according to NDMA, we had over 2 million children who were indirectly affected by school closures and, of course, disruption in learning. Between 22 to 24, students in Pakistan lost 97 days of school, which is 54% of a typical academic year. That was a great loss. And before that, we had this corona pandemic. Then, of course, climate knowledge among young people is lowest in lower middle and low-income countries, and Pakistan is one of them, and it is only 19%, which is alarming because future of work is changing, and we need to prepare these young people. So we have with us a very distinct panel. I'm just going to introduce them briefly because they are big achievers. I won't be able to kind of list down all of those, and I already feel intimidated because I'm facilitating this in the presence of such learned panelists. Ms. Zubaida Jalal, who is the former Minister of Federal Education and Professional Training of Pakistan, and in recognition of her services to education in Balochistan, she has been honored with Pride of Performance Award. We have Ms. Gulmeena Bilal, who is the chairperson of National Vocational and Technical Training Commission, NEVTEC, and she also regularly writes opinion pieces, and she always shares with me, and I'm really thankful that you do because I learned a lot from them. Then we have Ms. Bela Raza Jamil, who is public policy specialist. She's also CEO of Idara Talimo Agahi. And Bela ji has also, recently she has been given award, the most prestigious Asia Education Medal in 2024. Then we have Ms. Tahira Abdullah, of course, who doesn't know her. And she's the human rights activist, social scientist, and development practitioner, and a very strong voice on human rights. And we heard her in the previous panel as well. Ehtisham Anwar, who is the former Secretary, School Education Department, Punjab, and he has also authored a green book for schools in South Punjab, which is a very impressive work. Harjeet Singh, who is the Global Engagement Director for Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty Initiative. Anab Mahmood, Sustainable Consultant and Academician. And I just wanted to keep Zunaira at the end because she is I learned a lot from her. And our journey has been for the last 2 years when she won this Policy Research Challenge, the youngest among the contestants. And she comes from Hub Balochistan, which is very, very impressive because there she has also been teaching English. She learned herself in 5 years of age. And then she went on to, at the age of 12 or less, teach it to other girls there. And many more achievements, and I won't be able to list them down right now. So without much ado, I'll turn to Ms. Zubaida Jalal. Madam, we would like to know from your experience, how well does the current curriculum address the challenges of climate change? And how can we actually bring reforms? What reforms are necessary?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'll just go a little bit back, the time when I was federal minister and we initiated the education sector reforms. Naturally, it was for the first time that we were talking about, sector-wide reforms, which meant not only primary education, but all the way from early childhood education to higher education. Within that, there were certain areas that we immediately picked up. One was the quality of education in Pakistan. Secondly, the curriculum itself, because for the last 14 years, now I'm talking about 1999, 2002. So prior to that, for the last 14 years, we never had any change in the curriculum. was just the one going on. So curriculum review, teacher training, because if we wanted quality education, then these were the areas, and the production of textbooks. Within that, public-private partnerships was one prominent area, and technical training, education was another prominent area, even then. And I'm proud to say that the technical education and vocational training centers and NAVTEC also were initiated then, in those years. There was a decision with the curriculum reforms. We had said that every 5 years we should have a curriculum reform because the world is progressing, knowledge, and the kind of education. We did it in 2001. Then there was another review in 2006. Even then I was part of the government and education minister then. But after then again a gap came of the curriculum reform, till recently in 2020, 21, when the single national curriculum came into being. And I feel now it's high time, if we discuss within that period of 5 years, that we should go into another review of the curriculum. And things like climate change and, the importance of such lessons and education, I would say, knowledge, should be one of the major components in the textbooks and otherwise also. There are specific subjects where you can include, for instance, you have the social studies from class 1 all the way to matric and higher education. One subject where I feel we can do it. But I would also like to mention here that when within the public-private partnership, the first early childhood education curriculum or draft was actually made by a private partner, the Teacher Resource Center. And it was historic in the sense that for the first time the government sits down and works with the private sector in producing the curriculum itself. Today, again, I would like to say that TRC has initiated, again, a draft for the curriculum for climate change from class 1 to 10. And last September, they had actually, the launching happened of that in Islamabad. It was, again, a process of getting all the provinces on board. It wasn't something that has come from up, but actually we also, when we initiated the reforms, when I say we, it's me, the ministry itself. We didn't have the 18th Amendment then, so we had a freer hand. And also, Bela was very much part of that journey with me as technical advisor to the ministry. We initiated the first interministerial committee where all ministers, provincial, would also sit to actually decide on policy and on the vision itself. And this TRC again has done this, which I feel it's very important that now we go towards the step of the textbook production. We have textbook boards. After the 18th Amendment, things have devolved. So, the provinces will have their own decisions to make in this. But the federal government or the federal ministry can play a role, in facilitating, providing the support and taking it forward. Within the, I mentioned the social study is textbooks, or the Maasharati Uloom as we call it in Urdu. We can also, within the reforms, we also talked about libraries, and we also spoke about supplementary reading materials, and that is very much there. So if the government feels, or if the parents feel, that there's so much burden on the children to study this and that, but we can always have libraries set up in schools. We did it in Islamabad because administratively we were directly, it came under the federal ministry. But otherwise, in provinces, many provinces picked it up. And we have libraries in high schools, at least, I think, most of the schools, government schools in Pakistan. But then supplementary reading materials can be introduced also. The whole sense of this is, as I can say, or I think, is to imbibe within the children the habits and the behavioral changes of how to, care for their own environment. Very important. At higher classes, naturally, they would understand more about, floods and please ignore my ignorance in this issue. I keep on thinking whether earthquakes have anything to do with climate change also. If it's and science, disaster reduction, exactly. Because you see, in Quetta, yeah, and there are studies now, because in Quetta, we are having more frequent and frequent earthquakes in winter, aftershocks, and mild and maybe stronger ones, but it's happening. So that study, I don't know if it has happened or not, but I just have a feeling and a thought over that. So it's how to different parts of Balochistan, if you look at it, or Pakistan. Balochistan, you'll go through droughts, then you have floods, then you have earthquakes, then you have the coastal, tsunamis and all. But alhamdulillah, we have not been affected in that sense. But these things you have. Then the mangroves, the coastal, area. So there's so much that we could, within the classroom, in my own school, I started my journey for education 43 years back in Balochistan. And within the classrooms, you can ask children, to keep your classrooms clean, pick up the garbage, paper that you have thrown, there's a dustbin, and that's how you imbibe the habits and the behavior. Or maybe plant trees, kitchen gardening, which is happening. In COVID times, you must have heard about the Camel Library, which was initiated by my sister in Mand, and we connected with Alif Laila Book Bus in Lahore, and because we were seeking funding, whether it's possible or not, and then Mrs. Kazim, Basarat Kazim, she actually connected with the Judith Reading Room, and they immediately supported it. Today, there are many, many more Camel libraries in Balochistan, especially in the coastal area and in Pech district where I am. And these are the kinds of linkages. I think these books can also be given to these, libraries where they are able to reach the unreached children, especially the ones in these remotest parts of the country. There's the Digi Kutubkhana, which ITA runs also at the coastal areas. So that coastal areas with mangroves is one area that you need to, bring about awareness. So there's so many ways if the government and the public-private partnerships can happen and take place and move forward. I would also like to mention here that in the times of, the floods, in the earthquake in Kashmir, I was then social welfare minister, 2005. So again, another huge responsibility at that time. But we immediately said, let's have tent schools, because the children were so traumatized. Many had lost families, many had become orphans, many had, were displaced in this whole setup. So with UNICEF, we immediately started tent schools. The same thing is required wherever it happens. But I feel very strongly that the government, at least, should also have a special emergency fund for these kinds of support systems in place within its own educational budget. We spoke about it then also, but somehow it did not come into being. But this is something that has to be put into the allocation for emergency setups where children immediately would require that school to at least be together with other children, and the whole trauma and mental health, as Nadia mentioned, is very important for those kids. I would also, in the end, say that if the examples, because I believe in behavior and habitual changes, very importantly, if we want to do something ourselves. For instance, we have now these pristine, clean beaches in Gwadar, and resorts are coming up. And people, educated, literate, civilized, come to these resorts. And the kind of garbage that is left behind, it's really heartbreaking. Because we say literate people, illiterate people would be, but not literate. But these fishermen villages, if you look at them, the kind of cleanliness in their homes, whether there's water or not is another issue. But you won't find this garbage. We've always had, for instance, when I talk of Mafran, fish, coastal areas have always been put into, to carry them. No plastic shoppers. We would always have the dwarf palm leaves baskets made. That is how you would carry your. We would have the chadar, the men. They would use it multi-purpose, but also to carry the vegetables from the shops. So these things, I think, should be revived also, according to the environment. I'll stop here, because there'll be others wanting
Thank you very
to talk
much. Very
also.
insightful, and I think when we talk about life-based skills, and you really delve deeper into it, how life-based skills can change not only behaviors, and that's very much needed. And it's not about who is educated, who is not. And Tahira Appa is sitting here. We have fought in Islamabad also for a lot of those tree cutting and a lot of those behaviors which actually prevail not among those who are not literate, but those who are sitting at the helm of affairs. With this, I would like to, because we are talking about behavior change, and Ehtisham has been working on this green book, which was geared towards the same thing. But Ehtisham, if you could, alongside sharing your experience, if you could also mention how and what are the challenges we have when it comes to teaching these books, because teachers are also not trained. So if you could delve a little deeper on that too. Thank you. And I'm sorry, before you start, I have been told 5 minutes each speaker.
Okay. Well, I'm Ehtisham Anwar, and I'm a civil servant. I belong to Pakistan Administrative Service. But my heart lives in education. I've been like deputy commissioner at a number of places and commissioner of a big division as well. But as I said, my heart beats for education. And for that very reason, I feel a little sad that even here in Dawn's media conference, education has been an alternate session. So not a main focus, which we see in all other walks of life as well. And that's why we are there where we are. And then the presence of audience, the numbers indicate how well we place education in the largest scheme of things. And if I see at my audience, except for probably one person who doesn't understand Urdu, I suppose most of my audience would be understanding Urdu. So I would be bilingual to be, I feel like people feel connected when you talk to them in Urdu. So I'll be bilingual. We do have one friend from India, Sat Sri Akal, Sardarji. So I hope he understands Urdu as well. The other thing, how did I enter education? I was a hardcore civil servant, DC, SHC. Even in Islamabad, I was additional deputy commissioner. So when South Punjab was created like 3 to 4 years ago as a separate administrative unit at par with other provinces, I was appointed, because of my very passion, as the first ever Secretary Education of South Punjab. And since we were creating a department from very scratch, department for South Punjab, so I was at liberty to do something right from the very beginning, putting the first brick straight. मैं कुछ भी ऐसा कर सकता था जो बाकी जगहों पे नहीं हो रहा था. I'm talking about 2020. और जब मैंने पूरे लैंडस्केप को देखा तो मुझे पता चला کہ کلائمیٹ چینج ایک چیز ہے. آپ آج کی بات مت کیجیے, ابھی آپ 2025 میں بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں اور 2 سال پہلے سیلاب آ گیا تھا اور پھر سب سمجھدار لوگوں کو پتہ چل گیا کہ کلائمیٹ چینج کا جو جارگن ہے اس میں بہت پوٹینشیل ہے پرسنل گروتھ کا, انسٹیٹیوشنل گروتھ کا. تو میں فائنانشیل گروتھ کا, میں آئی ایم سیئنگ دس ود لٹل سٹائر. تو آج تو بہت سے چیمپئنس نظر آتے ہیں. جس وقت میں لوگوں کے پاس جاتا تھا اور انہیں کہتا تھا ہم نے کلائمیٹ چینج پڑھانی ہے, تو مجھے جواب ملتا تھا کہ ہمیں تو روٹی روزی کے چکر پڑے ہوئے ہیں, یہ کلائمیٹ چینج کی کیا بات کرتے ہو. میں کہتا تھا اٹ از ناکنگ ایٹ یور ڈور, اٹس اے ڈینجر, اٹس ناکنگ ایٹ یور ڈور. تو کسی کو اس کی پرواہ نہیں ہوتی تھی نا. خیر ہم نے سوچا ہم تو پڑھائیں گے, ہم چونکہ نیا ڈپارٹمنٹ بنا رہے تھے. اب ہم نے کہا کہ جی کریکولم لائیں اور بچوں کو پڑھاتے ہیں, کتابیں لائیں اور بچوں کو پڑھاتے ہیں. وی ڈونٹ نیڈ ٹو ری انوینٹ دا ویل, نیٹ پہ بیٹھیں کتابیں ڈاؤن لوڈ کریں. تو جب ہم وہاں پہ بیٹھے, میڈم آپ بھی سرپرائز ہوں گی کہ ہمیں پتہ چلا کہ دنیا میں اس وقت میں سوشل اسٹڈیز میں, بایولوجی میں, سائنس میں دے ڈو مینشن بٹ دا ڈیپتھ آف انکلوژن واز یوزلی ویری منیمل. یہ 2020 کی بات میں آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں. تو ہمیں یہاں پہ کک ملی کہ کیوں نہ کچھ ایسا کیا جائے جو دنیا میں کہیں نہیں ہوتا اور پاکستان پہلی دفعہ کرے. عام طور پہ یہ ہوتا ہے کہ جب دنیا کوئی کام 50, 60, 70 سال کر چکی ہوتی ہے تو پھر پاکستان والے بھی اس کی طرف توجہ کرتے ہیں. تو یہاں میں اپنی ٹیم کو, جو ہم لوگ وہاں پہ نئے لوگ تھے سارے, ہم نے کہا ہم کچھ ایسا کرتے ہیں, لیٹس ڈو اٹ فار دا فرسٹ ٹائم ان دا انٹائر ورلڈ اینڈ لیٹ دا پیپل فالو دا پاتھ. تو وہاں پہ پھر اب دیر واز نو کریکولم اراؤنڈ, تو ہم نے لوگوں کو ڈھونڈا, آکسفورڈ یونیورسٹی پریس کے ساتھ بھی بات کی, انوائرمنٹلسٹ کے ساتھ بھی بات کی, اور ہم نے فگر آؤٹ کیا کہ کلائمیٹ چینج ہے کیا. ہمیں پتہ چلا 15-17 بڑے بڑے سبجیکٹس ہیں, ٹاپکس ہیں جس کو کلائمیٹ چینج کلیکٹیولی آپ کلائمیٹ چینج کے کریکولم میں لا سکتے ہیں. ایک صاحب اٹھے, بہت سے صاحبان اٹھے انفیکٹ, اور انہوں نے کہا بچے تو آگے اتنے برڈن ہوتے ہیں, آپ کہہ رہے ہیں ہم ایک نیا سبجیکٹ پڑھائیں گے. اب یہاں پہ میری ان سے 2 آرگیومنٹس تھے. پہلا آرگیومنٹ یہ تھا کہ آپ لوگ بایولوجی, کیمسٹری, فزکس, میتھس بھی تو پڑھتے ہیں, اکنامکس بھی تو پڑھتے ہیں. ہیئر از اے سبجیکٹ جو کہ آپ کی لائف کا ایشو بننے والا ہے. اب دیکھیں نا, بن گیا کہ آپ کی سیکیورٹی کا, آپ کی سسٹیننس کا ایشو بننے والا ہے, اور آپ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ نہیں اس پہ ہم نے توجہ نہیں دینی, وہ ٹھیک ہے ادھر ادھر پڑھا ہے, ہم آلریڈی پڑھا رہے ہیں. اور جہاں تک یہ آرگیومنٹ تھا نا کہ بہت سے سبجیکٹس میں تھوڑا بہت اس کا ذکر ہے یا کر دیں, اف ایٹ آل یو آر سو سیریس اباؤٹ کلائمیٹ چینج, اس کو ادھر ادھر مینشن کر دیں. میرا آرگیومنٹ یہ تھا آپ ایسا ضرور کریں, ہم نے بھی کیا, میں بعد میں سیکرٹری ایجوکیشن پنجاب بھی بن گیا, ہم نے بھی ایسے کیا. لیکن ضروری تھا کہ کوئی ایک ایسا لیول ہوتا جہاں پہ ہم اسے ایک سبجیکٹ کے طور پہ سامنے لے کے آتے, ایک سبجیکٹ کے طور پہ ہم سامنے لے کے آتے, تاکہ سارا نالج کوہرنٹ ہو جاتا ہے ایک بچے کے لیے, میکسیمم امپیکٹ محسوس کرتا وہ, انٹائر نالج ان ون پیکج. تو وہاں سے پھر ہم نے وی اسٹارٹیڈ کریٹنگ this book which people are calling as a green book, بچوں کی سب کتاب. We did not want to burden the students, so we created stories. There are 16 environment related topics and there are 16 stories revolving around a girl and a boy. ہم نے اس کو, ان تمام ایشوز کو بھی میڈم ایڈریس کیا. ہمارا جو ہیرو ہے وہ یہ خضر ہے اور دا گرل گل. خضر اور گل ہیں. 17 سٹوریز میں ہیرو ہیروئن ان کو کوئی نہ کوئی ایشو درپیش ہوتا ہے, اور انتہائی کلرفل بک. If you have a look on this book, یہ آپ کو بہت کلرفل ملے گی.
That's a beautiful book, and I hate to kind of stop you in the middle, but I've got a chit saying that we have to go down at 4:30 for security check. Is that what it is? I mean, you talked about how important education is, and I can see, I mean, it's not in my hand right now.
Okay, what do you want me to? Do you want me to finish my?
Yeah.
Okay. In any case, ہم نے اس کو ساؤتھ پنجاب میں اسٹارٹ کیا. ساؤتھ پنجاب واز 1/3 آف پنجاب. اگر کوئی دنیا کا ملک ہوتا, اٹ واز 27th لارجسٹ کنٹری ان دا ورلڈ, ساؤتھ پنجاب. تو ہم نے اس کے سب بچوں کو پڑھانا شروع کر دیا کلائمیٹ چینج, اور یہ پریکٹیکل بیس تھا. اور آپ نے کہا نا انوائرمنٹ, اور میڈم کی بات کی کہ ہم نے وہ درختوں کو بھی بچایا شہر میں, وہ اسٹوری بھی اس میں اسٹوری بن کے آئی ہوئی ہے. وہ اس میں ہیرو ہیروئن وہ بچہ بچی ہیں, لیکن وہ اسٹوری وہی سڑک کی, مرگلا ایونیو کی جو
چلے وہ ہیروئن میں اور طاہرہ صاحبہ ہو جائیں گی. بہت بہت شکریہ, اور یہ بہت بڑا کنٹریبیوشن ہے آپ کا. اسی کے ساتھ I'll come to Miss Bela, because she has been contributing a lot, also in terms of there is a book that she gave me and I saw that she has also kind of authored that. Miss Bela, if you can actually talk through your experience, how can we use education literacy to improve access to climate change information?
شکریہ بہت بہت. just, it's been so inspiring since yesterday, what we've heard, and how the framing has been taking place under Breathe Pakistan, the fact that everybody came together from so many sectors to talk about the issue. I think if ever there is a sector, it is education, which today has become the center of a polycrisis. You look at the education of the child and adolescents, etc., and people really who are most vulnerable, they are vulnerable because of nutrition, they are vulnerable because of poverty, they are vulnerable because of climate change, they are vulnerable because of so many social protection issues, to the mental challenges, etc. So today, if we have to speak about education, and especially the work that I, for example, did on adolescent girls, the Siani Seheliyan program, the biggest piece was you cannot address issues of education without having a multi-sectoral lens. That's the framing under which it happens. If Zunaira gets inspired, she's been inspired for other reasons than just education. It is the biggest existential crisis. We've said it to death. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Zubaida spoke about initiatives that have been happening, but again, the fragmentation of these issues is huge. For a country the size that we are, and yesterday Ali Chima spoke exactly about this. You look at the population crisis, you look at the high population growth areas, you look at the challenges of climate change, how are you going to connect? And then we were talking a lot about climate finance. And that's a very real reality too, especially in a country like Pakistan, which has only 1.5% of GDP allocated to education, what goes to girls and what goes to boys and the challenges that we have. So the issue is, it's a time for seriously getting together for not just data coherence, but to be able to say, okay, what is going to be the actionable coherent aspect? Now, the pivots of those are really about how do we organize our schools, our education systems, our formal, non-formal, technical, vocational. Gulveena is here. We need to be able to, really hunker down and say, we have in Pakistan some of the finest materials in education. Zubaida spoke about PRC's work just recently. We've been working on developing content that has been passed by the National Curriculum Council and other provinces as well. But the question is, we cannot make that decision to integrate curriculum in the mainstream system. Now, imagine there's a curriculum. There are 150 lesson plans for teacher training, for lower primary, upper primary, middle secondary. सब तैयार पड़ा है, कंटेंट तैयार पड़ा है, WWF का ले लें, AQUID का ले लें, ITA का ले लें, फलां का ले लें. I mean, it's just fabulous stuff that's going on. What is it that is stopping us? And you know that research has shown us time and time again, even the ASR research on climate change, the large number of households affected, we are talking about 40% affected in terms of the income, not knowing what is going to happen in terms of the food chain, what is going to happen in terms of the nutrition security and so on. These are very real issues. These are not issues which, you say happen somewhere far off. The majestic hill, whether it's today we heard, was it yesterday or today from Kanak, he spoke about, that there has to be a decision that if you want to look at saving Himalayas, if you're going to save Karakorums, if you're going to save this whole region, Pakistan has 7,500 plus glaciers outside the polar belt. This is the largest. Everything is at peril right now. But more than that, when I see young children and adolescents coming, with climate change solutions themselves, even though it's not being talked about, but they're living it. The gap between home and school is disappearing because they have to come up with solutions. Mm-hmm. So the actionable points right now are three things. One is to make a decision and say, okay, other than what we'll do, because climate change has to be done from early years all the way up. We know that the brunt of it comes to mothers and young children and young women, etc., because they suffer the brunt. and they take that. We saw that in the floods as well. But how do you integrate that so that you have that in your different subjects? But how about just replacing geography with a bigger climate change subject in the middle years and at least having geography as a subset? There are many ways to skin that one. Secondly, obviously, with that will come teacher training and how do you get your workforce prepared, assessment systems done, because till you don't have an assessment way, nobody will take this seriously. The third thing, which is very important, is how are you going to look at climate financing, both within domestically and also sourcing it internationally. Today, the climate financing avenues are open. I believe just at the end of this month, we are all getting together with GPE, Global Partnership for Education, on that climate education support initiative. So that's coming. There are others that are around. The issue is, within Pakistan, we know we cannot operate in silos. We know that we have to be able to look at all of this together and look at it holistically. But content is ready, financiers are even ready. We need to have systems which will become climate change action friendly. ताकि ज़ुनेरा का अगर आइडिया है तो हम उसको इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकें. और आखिर में मैं कहूँगी चाहे कुछ भी आप कर लें, till there is no sense of how to address climate change issues through both what I would say, and I hate these binaries of academic, non-academic, cognitive, non-cognitive, life skills and learning go together. It's the life skills actually which become the trigger for academic success. And that happens both with girls and boys. So I'll just finish there. I think it's time for action. We are more than ready, and thanks to Dawn, and UNICEF and many others, the industry partners were so brilliant today. Everybody is on the same page. So why can't we have holistic actions? All these books that we are making, whether on climate change, such as Mohal Saheliya, others, my first book also, which is on Sunehri and Raya, these are all about the food plate and climate change. And using the whole technique of anthropomorphism so that at least you begin to make children feel that, oh, the wheat has come alive. The wheat is my friend. That she's Sunehri. I can call her Sunehri. And how will she come on my food plate? And so on. So Pakistan, I think, we've got this brilliant stuff going on here, as it is going on in the region and other places. And we have today, more than ever, open source public goods and ideas. कोई नहीं कह रहा कि आप हमारे it's patented, you have to pay this or that. All our friends sitting from India or other places are saying, please हमसे ले लो, हम पाकिस्तानी कह रहे हैं हमसे ले लो. So I think with that spirit, I think we need to be much more open source, but more than that, we carry that common sense to be able to survive and sustain civilizations, including the Indus legacy, which will just, we just diluting it unnecessary. It's time for action. I think we're all ready.
Thank you very much, Bilapa. And I think you've hinted on a very important point that we have to have a holistic view of learning as well. And this brings me to Ms. Gulmeena, because she's the chairperson, NEPTEC. Gulmeena, if you could share with us how TVET sector is reforming itself in order to match the future of jobs, because that's changing and there has to be a holistic approach to learning.
Thank you very much, Momi, and I would be more than happy to share. But if you would allow me, I know that as a facilitator, I was a facilitator in my previous life, you are very, very pressurized right now. I would rather that we ensure that our young friend from Hub has her time, and then I can very quickly then speak after her so that she is not rushed. If you will allow, that's your actually decision.
Ji, Zarur, of course. I mean, it is about young people. So thank you very much. And I'll ask organizers if we can take 15-20 minutes more, because I mean, the panel was kept till 5, no? So 4:30 is okay. Okay, so we have a president here as well. So I would request Zunaira Zanera, if you could share your thoughts, you have heard the speakers. What is it that we need to do to, to empower young people to respond to climate change, because you will face the brunt?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope that you all are doing well. I am Zunaira Qayyum. I'm a 14 years old child rights advocate and a climate champion from UNICEF Pakistan. And thanks for having me, Miss Mommy Salim, for the greatest opportunity to sit around the people who are like-minded and no words to explain their knowledge. As a representative of young voices, I envision Pakistan, I envision the country, I envision the world where learning empowers us to become climate champions, equipped to tackle the climate complexities and making a sustainable future for all. But unfortunately, climate change is already affecting the lives, education, and many other aspects of children all around the world. That is not just 100,000, but it's affecting the more than millions and billions of children all around the world. To reference with, according to UNESCO's recent research, 251 million children globally are out of school. And mostly their schools are being damaged, disrupted, and destructed due to the natural disasters, mostly like floods and hurricanes. Pakistan, the word we like, the country we say home, is also being destroyed. According to the World Bank, 37% of girls and 27% of boys are out of school, which means that 20.3 million out of 63.3 are out of school, are not attending the schools. To me and to you all, what I think is, you think that the children are the future of our countries, of our nations, of the world, but still, and they're not getting the education. What would be the future of the country, of the nations? That's a thing to prioritize, it's a thing to highlight. The area where I come from, Balochistan, is most vulnerable to climate change. It does not only affect the agriculture or other aspects, but it highly affects the education and health of children. Children like me are not even can't even attend school. And I was like that before, but thanks to Mommy, she gave me that much better opportunity today. I'm here in front of you all. After that, climate, there's one thing that I always think of, that when I went to COP, I went to YAG, wherever I go, one thing that always comes to my mind, why do we only speak? Why don't we talk? Today, from the last, yesterday we talked, today we talked, why don't we act? So now it's time to act. And I hope that we act. One thing that comes into my mind when I think about the solution of climate change is climate education, which is our panel's today's main highlighted topic. Climate education is providing climate education, making it a core subject and integrating climate education into school curriculum and making it a core subject would be a better thing, a better solution for a sustainable future in this climatic generation. I, as the voice of hundreds and billions of children all around the world, I today demand climate action, I demand climate education from you all, for all except of geographical locations or except of the socio-economic background, who are the parts of organizations, heads of organization. We demand climate action and education. Skills, so I would just love to end with some sentence like, let's just leave the Breathe Pakistan Conference 2025 with a hope in our hearts and commitment to action. Then we hope to create together a Pakistan where every child can breathe clean air, drink clean water, and thrive a climate resilient world. Thank you so much.
inspirational. And every time I hear Zunaira, be it at COP, and she was actually representing Pakistan as the youngest delegate, and she sat at COP UNFCCC press conference, and she actually shook the room. And today also she did the same. And and it's not me, you're making that space yourself. You're such a brilliant child, mashallah. So yes.
Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Choti si Zubaida Jalal, the future. So it was nice to see the present Zubaida Jalal and the future Zubaida Jalal. And ma'am, with all due respect, I think she'll be bigger and better. Exactly. Inshallah. What a delight to listen to you. And thank you so much, UNICEF and Dawn. روایتی باتیں میرا خیال میں ہمارے پاس وقت نہیں ہے تو which is very good because I will jump straight into the point. I'll speak about the past, the present and the future very very quickly. ایک زمانہ تھا اور ادھر نشاندہی کی گئی کہ ایک زمانہ تھا کہ جہاں پہ گفتگو جو ہے کلائمیٹ اڈیپٹیشن پہ، کلائمیٹ کی تعلیم پہ مختلف ڈپارٹمنٹس میں، مختلف سیکٹرز میں کہا جاتا تھا کہ یہ NGO والوں کا مسئلہ ہے یا یہ کلائمیٹ چینج والوں کا مسئلہ ہے. اس وقت تو خیر منسٹری بھی نہیں ہوا کرتی تھی، سائلوز میں گفتگو ہوتی تھی اور آپ نے سر بالکل بجا فرمایا. ابھی ہم پھر گفتگو جب انیشیٹ ہوئی، جب بات آگے بڑھی تو بات شروع ہوئی پرٹیکولرلی ان دا ٹیوٹ سیکٹر آف گرین جابس، آف گرین کیمپسز. یہ شروعات تھی گفتگو کی. بٹ پھر بھی تھا کہ اچھا جی بٹ مطلب یہ اس پہ بھی ایک کچھ کر دیں گے، کچھ وہ ایک وہ تھوڑا پیس میل سائلوس پہ ہے. اس وقت 7 فروری 2025 حال میں آ جاتے ہیں. 7 فروری 2025 میں وی آلریڈی ہیو اے گریننگ ٹیوٹ پالیسی ان پلیس. اب جب ٹیوٹ پالیسی کی ہم بات کرتے ہیں تو اس میں 4-5 جو ہیں وہ بہت اہم آپ کے موونگ پیسز ہوتے ہیں. ایک سب سے پہلے آپ کا کوالیفیکیشن فریم ورک ہے، آپ کی انسٹیٹیوٹس ہیں، آپ کا فزیکل انفراسٹرکچر ہے، کیمپسز، آپ کا کریکلم ہے، آپ کے ٹیچرز ہیں اور آپ کے اسیسرز ہیں. یہ 5-6 بیسک بنیاد ہے ٹیکنیکل ووکیشنل ایجوکیشن ٹریننگ کی. اس وقت آئی ایم ہیپی ٹو رپورٹ زنیرا آپ سے اجازت سے کہ اس وقت کاغذ ہمارے پاس موجود ہے. اب آپ سوچیں گی کہ کاغذ موجود ہے، پالیسی موجود ہے تو اب ایکشن کیوں نہیں ہے؟ چلیں ایک زمانہ تھا ہمارے پاس کاغذ بھی نہیں تو اب کاغذ ہے. سو اٹس آلویز گڈ کہ پالیسی آپ کے پاس ہو بیکاز دیٹ از ویئر دین وی گیٹ این امبریلا انڈر وچ وی ورک. اس وقت ناؤ آئی ایڈ ٹو دا پریزنٹ. اس وقت ہمارے پاس ٹیوٹ گریننگ ٹیوٹ ٹیچرس ٹریننگ ماڈیول is completed, is done, has been validated. So that is there. And through this manual, we will be training 1,000 teachers in Punjab, 300 in Sindh, and I believe 50 in Balochistan. So moving forward, let's quickly jump to the future. Moving forward, 30 green TVET centers will be established all over the country with the help of a funding partner. اب وہ ٹیوٹ ایک ہے ٹیوٹ سینٹرز کی اسٹیبلشمنٹ، جس کا مطلب ہے کہ آپ کی آلریڈی ہم نے جیسے فار انسٹنس آپ کے ہیٹنگ اے سی وینٹیلیشن کے جو کورسز ہیں اس میں آلریڈی جو ہے کلین انرجی پہ شامل ہے نصاب میں کہ کلین انرجی اور زیادہ ایفیشینٹ گیس جو ہے وہ آپ کس طرح استعمال کر سکتے ہیں. کلنری آرٹس جو ہمارا بہت بڑا ایک سیکٹر ہے اس میں آلریڈی جو ہے وہ ڈیجیٹلائزیشن اور ویژولائزیشن آلریڈی انکارپوریٹ ہو چکی ہے تاکہ فوڈ ویسٹیج جو ہے وہ آپ اس کو منیمائز آپ کر سکیں. رین واٹر ہارویسٹنگ کی ایگری میں ہم لوگ آلریڈی بات کرنا شروع ہو چکے ہیں، نصاب میں شامل ہے. سو میں نے آپ کو ماضی کے بارے میں بتایا، آپ کو حال کے بارے میں بتایا اور آپ کو عنقریب مستقبل کے بارے میں بتایا. بٹ سو ابھی تک جو میں بات کر رہی ہوں وہ آئی ایم اسٹرائکنگ این آپٹمسٹک نوٹ، بٹ لیٹ می اینڈ آن اے رادر پیسمسٹک نوٹ. ہمارے وہ انڈسٹریل اسٹیک ہولڈرز who are in touch, who have business, जिनके पास काम है, कारोबार है, they are very cognizant of the challenges, and that is why they are very, very concerned about climate adaptation, climate education, climate resilience. But those of us, including myself, जिन्होंने दुकान नहीं चलानी, जिन्होंने खेत को हार्वेस्ट नहीं करना, वो disconnected है जो from the entire idea of climate, and that is unfortunately the majority of हमारे लिए वो real ही नहीं है. And that is where I think we need people like here at the panel, people like yourselves, जो कि हमें बताएं कि जी अगर हम construction की बात कर रहे हैं, so it has to be green, it has to be efficient. Plumbing की बात कर रहे हैं, so we need to be greener in that sense. So ending on this note, that the framework is there, the policies are there, the training curriculum is there. So partial implementation has already started, but we need, with the partial implementation, we need 100% ownership. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Gulmeena. And I think, I mean, whenever I meet you and I hear these thoughts, very visionary. And recently we attended a meeting on persons with disability in Tibet. So a round of applause for Gulmeena as well, because she is very forward-looking and we need people like her. Tairapa, this brings me to you, because we have heard that things are available. Yes, please, please.
Shortage of time. Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon again. Waqt kam, muqabla sakht, so therefore, a lot of data has been shared, a lot of facts, information sharing has been done. I'm going to get right down to it. I brought 12 recommendations for the way forward, but I was struck by what my friend, my young friend, the celebrated Nadia Jamil said. It's time for action. Chest beating बहुत हो गई, मातम बहुत हो गया, अब action की बात है. Action ये है that instead of saying we are incorporating climate and environment into the curriculum, just incorporate the SDG titles into the curriculum. Why am I repeating this again and again? Because hot off the press is the 2024 National Education Policy Development Framework from the Federal Ministry of Lamba Sa Naam hai, in short, education. And these are guidelines for federal and provincial education policies, because under the 18th Constitutional Amendment of 2010, it's a devolved subject, provincial autonomy. I understand that. It's a 50-page document. I went through it again and again and again and again. कि कहीं मुझे climate change, environment, gender issues, horizontality, intersectionality, multisectorality, शायद कहीं नजर आ जाए. Okay. Page 40. There should also be an emphasis on environmental and social sustainability. Shabash. Shabash. 50 pages. 24 men contributed to this. All due respect to all men, Sardar ji, Secretary Saab, sare ke sare yahan respectable men, journalists, bade renowned kisam ke baithe mard. So, thank you, Dawn. Thank you, UNICEF. And thank you for including the voice of children, adolescents, youth. She's all three in one, by the way. At the age of 14, she's a child and she's an adolescent and she's a budding young person, youth. So, बहुत shukriya. And my last but most important recommendation, I brought 12 recommendations. एक साहब होते हैं जो कि acting president होते हैं जिनके लिए security करनी बहुत ज़रूरी होती है, इसलिए हमें बोलने की इजाज़त नहीं है. Okay, I understand that. This is Pakistan. So, the most important recommendation for the way forward is 26.2 million children are out of school, 2/3 girls. Yes, 2/3, nahi? Okay, whatever the figure is. Majority girls. Chalo, theek hai. Thank you. how can we cope with the children who fall through the cracks, who are out of school, in child labor or not in child labor, remunerated or unremunerated, bonded slave labor, forced early childhood marriages, girls, forced pregnancies, forced repeated. So the only solution is, okay, 5% of the GDP per annum budget, yes. ये पूरी 12 recommendations किसी वक्त मुझसे आके पूछ लीजिएगा, मैं बता दूंगी 12 recommendations. There's no time now. But the one thing I will ask Bhomi Sahiba for some time, and that is, until we learn to focus on the unsustainable population growth rate of 2.55% and a total fertility rate that has gone up from 3.1 child per woman to 3.6 child per woman. It's not a percentage, by the way. Media, apne tamam media साथियों को बता दो, this is not a percentage. TFR is an absolute number. So if we stand at 3.6 TFR, total fertility rate per woman, this out of school population will only continue to rise. You can throw as much money into this deep hole as you want. हमें population stabilization, sustainable development, climate change, environmental conservation and preservation, and climate financing, climate justice, gender equality, breathe Pakistan, educate Pakistan, survive Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tahira Appa. With this, I'll come to Anab because Hirjeet has requested me so that I could go to Anab first. I'm really sorry as a facilitator. I really feel very, very embarrassed to be pressurizing our panelists. So this is to organizers that next time if you do organize something, please keep some time. Yeah. So, no, thank you very much. So Anab, if you could talk about education system and resilience in the wake of climate impacts.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. A bit of introduction here. I'm a mother, first of all, and I just completed my master's in sustainability 2 years ago from an international university. Why do I bring it up? Because I wanted to do my master's in sustainable development, and from the city where I am based out of at the moment does not offer a graduate degree program. Out of so many universities in Karachi, none of them offers a degree, a formal education in climate change sciences or environmental sciences. So I ended up spending tens of thousands of dollars on a hybrid program. So such is the challenge that we're facing. Very quickly, how can we make our institutions, educational systems resilient to climate change? While we all know, and this is no news to us, that our educational sector is already struggling, okay? But with the change in climate and evolving AI landscape, digitization of educational resources in developed countries, the challenge is just staring us in the eye. We are anyway going to be thrusted downward if we do not take the action now. And, it has been brought up by the esteemed panelists earlier as well. So what are the solutions? It boils down to really 3 main points. Number 1, resource optimization. When I speak of resource optimization, I'm talking about the human capital plus the infrastructural capital. Human capital, it encompasses teachers, staff, the training programs. And trust me when I tell you, we do have the talent. It's just the strategic framework and strategic policy making that we need to have these implemented. Resource optimization means making the most of whatever resources we have while minimizing the wastage. And when it comes to infrastructural optimization, I speak of not only the buildings, not only the structures, but the accessibility of resources to enhance the educational quality systems, and not only within the elite system, across all formal, informal educational sectors, across all grades, pre-K, early educational years, all the way to higher education, and circling it up to adult education. This is one of the least addressed issues when I speak of mothers training. So you're not only training a generation of mothers, you're actually preparing the next generation which is born and which is going to inherit this extraordinary nexus of over-consumerism, the unprecedented levels of consumerism, climate change, and the very fast evolving AI technology. Right? So in order to bridge these gaps, resource optimization is of prime importance. Which brings me to the second point, how do we know the needs that are needed to be addressed? Yes, we need data. We need to leverage resources, tools, make collaborations, public-private partnerships, and in terms of quote, unquote, self-help, yes, leverage all that we have to gather data. Because unless we're not aware of all the challenges that we're going to be facing in the coming years, we don't know what is there to be fixed. We don't know of the problems that are going to evolve very soon and impact us in ways we're not really prepared to handle, right? So data collection, research and development, rigorous work there, that's of prime importance. Third, climate literacy, going back to where I started off from, it's not only about, and very rightly as brought up by our esteemed panelists, yes, circling back to mothers to instill behavioral changes at primary levels, secondary level educations, and higher education, all equally important. We need to know the industrial sector's need. We need to be aware of all the professional development courses that are required out there to address the climate change impacts, all in all. Not just at primary levels, not just at secondary levels. We have to work across these stratas. And lastly, we need to enhance climate change literacy in all dimensions in order to combat all the challenges coming from all facets of it. Foremost and primarily, for us to be able to access and to unlock the climate finance that's out there. When we speak of billions and billions of dollars being leveraged by the global north for development, which is primarily required in the global south. So, of all the 250 million students affected in 2024, the highest brunt was taken in South Asia, where 128 million students were affected. So we need to have that kind of literacy to access the funds when we speak of Global Climate Fund and other IDF, World Bank, ADB programs. Our students, we ourselves as professionals, need to be equipped with the right kind of knowledge, tools, and resources to unlock these funds to the best of our usage. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. I will come straight to the point and build on a lot of insights we have already heard. So what I want to stress is we need to recognize that we have already entered the world of uncertainty. And that should define how we are going to talk about education, how we are going to build skills of people, because it is already affecting every aspect of our lives and nothing is going to remain untouched. How we grow food, how we travel, how we use energy, how we build our houses, how we study. And if that's the situation, then what are those foundational things that we have to do which are going to enable us to deal with the uncertainty? And that is extremely important. Yes, we need to talk about causes and consequences, but what about the variability that we are seeing every day? You look at the way weather is changing, and we are already living in a world which is 1.6 degree warmer, and thanks to Trump, drill baby drill, we are going to look at 3 or 4 degree warmer. Every fraction of warming is going to cause devastation and bring the kind of variability which we have never seen in the past. So you cannot learn from the past a lot more. Yes, I also respect traditional knowledge, which is going to come very handy, but you need to connect that with modern science and then come up with solutions which are far more local. So what does that mean? Beyond awareness, beyond generating that knowledge, you need to really go down to the basics. You need to, as we say, we should not give fish to people, but give a fishing rod. So basically, we need to invest a lot more on the foundational knowledge, develop critical thinking skills. And if you do not have that, you'll not be able to work on the solutions. I'm sorry to say a lot of solutions that we are going to build now may not work in the next 5 years. As you very rightly said, we need to be reviewing our curriculum. If that's the situation and we are building ground up, we need to enable people so that they can develop their own solutions. Then we say we are going to develop it and serve it to you. No, we are going to empower you so that you can develop your solution. So empowerment has to be not only the journey, but also the destination. Because everything is going to change. Your policies need to change so often that we have not even experienced that in the past. So I would say focus on critical thinking and problem solving. And also there's a concept called design thinking and systems thinking, because what we have learned from IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, we are going to look at climate crisis unfolding in a far more complex and cascading manner. One thing is going to lead to the other. We are talking about feedback loops. Trust me, we don't have a past experience of that, which means we need to invest into people's knowledge and skills so that they can develop their own solutions with changing environment and changing situations, and not really serving them baked solutions. I think for me, that is extremely important. Of course, we need to talk a lot about behavioral change. Let Pakistan, India, or Bangladesh should not follow the same destructive model of development that has brought us to this crisis. So I totally agree. We need to talk about overconsumption. We need to talk about, as a solution, degrowth. Not here. Of course, people need access to energy and basic services, but pressurized West. West should degrow now, and we should grow sustainably. That's what we have to do.
Thank you, Jeet, with those very powerful words. And I think we started with how we need to have a holistic overview of learning, which is to integrate skilling. And Jeet, you summed it up very well, that we need those life-based skills, no more the same thing. And I think the quality of education is also something we talked about, and that really encompasses how we include soft skills as well as technical skills in order to equip our young people to be able to respond to climate change, challenge. With this, thank you very much, panelists. And I'm really sorry for just, and I think organizers owe you apology, but I'm going to apologize on their behalf that I had been actually cutting your time. So thank you very much, and maybe a group photograph we can have now. Thank you.